All right, guys. Are you guys ready to do a podcast?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We're clean on this, so.
Tone would love to have me, but
Are we allowed to?
Whoa!
You know what? And I'm gonna
You
double
suck.
down. You would love to have me too, ball.
Hey, yo, James, don't call him directly. He might cut you out. Call me first, and I'll thank you.
Do you smell what the book is cooking?
Yeah, what I like to say is movement fails opportunity when opportunity fails to move.
Welcome to Gumball Sports Machine, this show in which we laugh, we hug, we cry, we smile, and most importantly, above all, we are a positive show, a positive sports podcast. And of course, I'm not on my own. I got my boy, my dog, my brother, my co-host, David DLO, David Largo, co-host DLO. David Largo, how are we feeling tonight, brother?
Feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the intro real quick for a quick second?
What's wrong with the intro, David?
Can, I don't know if we ever shared this information, but that shot that you take at the end,
Yeah.
that was supposed to go to Tone. I don't know if we ever said that.
Oh, you snitching, DLO?
No. I'm just saying, like,
Hmm?
it was supposed to go to Tone, and something happened.
You know what happened? It's the snitches.
Get rewarded. Ice cream.
Yeah. Where's that at? The snitches get rewarded. They get rewarded with something. I don't know if people would call it a reward, but they get rewarded with something. You know what I'm saying? You know.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? But Tone was supposed to take that shot. He was doing a lot of missing though. So I was like, you know what? Let big dog.
You said it, not me. Now you
What?
snitching.
It's okay. It's all right. Tone, love you, dog.
Tone.
He's got some adult stuff to deal with tonight, so that's why he's not here. But just, you know what? I'm probably gonna pay for that when he comes back on here. No,
Probably cut this out.
probably cut that part out.
Probably edit that out. Yeah.
Let's because this is a pre-recorded episode. Let's probably cut that out. Thank God
Yeah.
it's live. All right. Well, David Largo, it's been a little while. It's been about a week.
Yeah,
since
it's been a week.
had an episode, and David Largo, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all,
There's so
the first
much.
thing, this away from what we're going to talk about. I do want to bring this up. Fan voting for All-Star games, for Pro Bowls, for MLB All-Star, for NBA All-Star, it needs to go. Am I the only one that think? I mean, it just needs to go. There's no reason Max Muncy, who's batting 260 and has like 9 home runs and 40 RBIs, if even that, should be in an All-Star game above Geno Suarez, who's batting 250, has 26 home runs and almost 70 RBIs. What are we doing? What are we doing? The NBA All-Star game is the same thing. It's probably even worse. What are we doing? Fan All-Star, I'm preaching it right now. Fan All-Star voting needs to go, David Largo. I don't know if you agree with it, but I think it needs to end. It needs to end. And even if you have them vote, don't have it have as much of an impact as it does right now. It's ridiculous. Guys are getting in that don't deserve to get in, and guys aren't getting in that do deserve to get in. It's done. It needs to go. It needs to go. I understand the fan involvement, and it needs to go. It's I'm getting sick of it.
I don't think it needs to go completely. I think that they need to lower the impact that fans have, if that makes sense. I don't know how you would do that, but it's like fans. Let's give them like 15 to 25% of the vote, and hell, let's let the players poll or the coaches or
That's honestly that's more impactful, David.
I agree. I agree. But at the end of the day, All-Star Weekend, no matter what the sport is really just like a cash grab, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if they were playing hard, I would understand, but a majority of the time they're not.
Mhm.
And so it's like, what's the point of having the best players when you can just have the most popular ones and make more money? So from a league standpoint, it's like, why would we change it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, as much as I don't want to agree with that, it's a great point. It irritates me, man. There's so many people, like there are snubs every single year in every sport, whether it's the NHL, the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, and the WNBA. And every sport, first of all, there's no reason, zero reason at all. Alyssa Thomas shouldn't be starting in the All-Star game. None. The Mercury had the second best record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason Alyssa Thomas shouldn't be starting in the All-Star game. Point blank, period.
I mean, you could just point to Phoenix sports in general, because we could say the same thing about Book.
I mean, he's top. He's the only person, other than Nikola Jokic, that was averaging 25 points and 7 assists. Or something like that. It's 27 points and 7 assists, some stat like that. He's the only person. It's infuriating, David.
I know.
I'm sorry. I feel like I had to get that off my chest, David. I hope you appreciate. I hope that was okay with you.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's fine. My guys don't get in too often. I think Tyler Hero got in last year off a technicality. Because
and
if the fans had their way, LaMelo Ball would definitely be in there. Trae Young would definitely be in there over Tyler. So,
and he's just, let's be honest now. Okay, maybe not LaMelo, but I'll take Tyler Hero right now over Trae Young.
You just a certified Trae Young hater. So
Trae Young is the most overrated player in the league. I promise he is. You
would take Bradley Beal over Trae Young right now.
I would take myself over Bradley Beal right now. I would take myself. I would go and get my 2-year-old niece and throw her ass on the NBA floor before I throw Bradley Beal on the floor for the Suns. It's God, man.
Hey, and guess what? We've heard zero news about that Bradley Beal guy. We've heard zero, zilch.
DLO, I'm afraid he's going to be on the Suns again next year.
I'm afraid too. It's just like I'm saying. I predicted.
Yeah, you know what? I got to give credit where it's due. And if he is on the team, I do got to give you credit for calling that out.
But it's fine because the Suns have been making great moves. Great moves.
You know what? They've had a very good offseason so far.
Very good.
They've had a very good offseason. I think they could have got a little bit more. We talked about it. I think they could have got a little bit more from the KD trade. But you got with what you got, I think they did very well with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
With the return that they got, even though you wanted maybe a little bit more, you've done well with what you've got back.
Yep. Yeah. I agree.
So I'll take that. I'll take that. You know, a win is a win, I guess. You know, whatever.
You win some, you lose some.
And the Suns just, you lose some and you lose more of them. So is what it's been like for the Phoenix Suns recently. Okay, David Largo, there's free agency. NBA free agency has opened up.
Yeah.
There are some big stories. There's big things that have happened. I do want to start today, right? I do want to start with what happened today. DeAndre Ayton went and signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I don't know the details of the deal. David, would you happen to know the details of the deal?
I do, actually. So 2-year deal. Pretty sure the second year is a player option.
Okay.
Or it's an option from somebody. So it could be 1 year, $8 million. So
$8 million.
Yeah. So technically his deal is a 2-year, $16 million, but with that option, it could end up just being a 1 year, $8 million, and then he moves on if it doesn't work. So who knows? But yeah, 2-year, 8 or 16, and then an option of some sort, whether it's a player or a team option. I'm not 100% sure. It's probably a player option.
It is a player option. It is a 2-year player option in the second year. Okay. So it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not.
It's not.
For the Lakers.
It's a 1-year rental.
It's a 1-year rental. And here's the thing though. If he plays well, he's probably going to opt out and see if he can go make more money.
More money.
If he doesn't play well, the Lakers are stuck with him for another year.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that he even came here in the first place. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that Indiana was going to give him more money considering they just lost Miles Turner.
Man, DLO, I thought even Boston could go out and get him.
I thought so too. I thought that while the Lakers do need a center really bad, I thought that other teams were more desperate.
Yeah.
And I think Indiana is one of those teams. Obviously, the Celtics are one of those teams because they traded away Kristaps. And so to me, the Lakers were kind of like a third option for him, but that's where he ended up going. So, I mean, good for the Lakers. They needed some sort of lob threat for Luka. That's what they did in Dallas, and it worked perfectly. But it doesn't work for me.
I'm glad you said that. That was going to be my next question, D'Lo. How do you think it's going to work out? I think we are kind of on the same page about it, but how do you think this is going to work out with DeAndre Ayton in a Laker uniform?
It won't. That's just a sad truth. It won't. I don't remember who said it in our chat earlier, but LeBron being your best defender on the floor at age 40, that's not a good look. Granted, DeAndre Ayton has the capability to be a semi-okay rim protector if he wasn't lazy, but we have never seen that from DeAndre Ayton. So I just don't think it works. They don't need any more offense, and they brought in someone who is not just very kind of lackluster from a first overall pick offensively, especially since a majority of the success in his career has come from Chris Paul, who makes any setter better around him.
Yeah.
Granted, you're giving him Luka Doncic, so he's bound to flourish in some ways, but again, I think the big thing with him is the locker room. Portland didn't want him because they said that he was really bad in the locker room. Apparently in Phoenix, he was really bad in the locker room. So it's just, what is he going to bring to that team? Number one. And two, Lakers fans are going to ostracize him for any bad games that he has. And I don't know if he's prepped for that. So
I don't, Taylor. When I tell you I'm so happy that the Lakers went out and got DA because it's going to fail so miserably. I mean, he has moments, right? He's one of the few players to average 14 and 10 over the past 7 years since he came into the league. So he's been somewhat productive, not on a consistent level though. The Lakers are going to need him to protect the rim. The Lakers are going to need him to be able to catch and finish alley-oops. First of all, DeAndre Ayton is very good around the rim. I'll give you that right now. DeAndre Ayton is very good around the rim. Usually, if he gets inside that circle, he finishes. The problem here in Phoenix, as you know, I am very familiar with DeAndre Ayton, him being drafted number 1 overall by the Phoenix Suns in 2018, and him playing his first 6 years of his career here. He is not at all aggressive around the rim. Again, he can finish well, but he refuses to dunk the ball for whatever reason. Like, if you have somebody, I mean, there were so many moments in time. Like, there was one game they're playing Toronto back when Fred VanVleet was in Toronto. This was a few years ago. He has Fred VanVleet on him. Fred VanVleet couldn't be more than 6 feet tall. Has Fred VanVleet on him, go and pulls up for a mid-range. I mean, go to the basket. DeAndre, he is an infuriating player to watch because he has all the talent in the world. But D'Lo, you mentioned it. He has a motor problem. It's when he wants to, he can be good. When he wants to, he can protect the rim. When he wants to, he can be impactful. 2021, when the Suns made that finals run, I was calling him the third best big man in the league behind Jokic and Embiid because that's how good he was. He gave Jokic problems. No. I don't think it was that crazy. I don't think it was, because he gave Jokic problems, swept the Nuggets. He gave AD problems, got the Lakers up out of there. He was fantastic in that playoffs. He did everything. He was protecting the rim. He was finishing alley-oops. He was aggressive around the rim. He was so good in that playoffs. And one of those reasons, D-Lo, you mentioned, is Chris Paul. And so he doesn't necessarily have that point guard to kind of give him that, let's go, get it together, get it right, let's go, let's work. He doesn't have that guy in LA. Maybe LeBron, but LeBron is 40. There's only so much of that he wants to do anymore. And Luka, I mean, if he wants to, I guess he can. But I don't see this working out at all in Los Angeles, D-Lo. I mean, playing with LeBron, and you thought it was pressure playing in Phoenix with the Suns? You think you're not only are you playing in Los Angeles with the Lakers, but you are playing with two of the greatest players in the NBA, and Luka Doncic and LeBron fucking James. Like, what? I don't. Again, maybe he wants the spotlight. Maybe he wants the opportunity to go and compete. I think he could have gotten that same opportunity elsewhere. I am so happy that he went with the Lakers, because he is going to fail miserably. Now, I'm not praying on his downfall. I do want to say that. I'm not praying on his downfall. I just think, and I'm familiar with DeAndre Ayton, and I watched him play for so many years. It is not going to work out, because his play style and his motor is not going to fit in LA with the Lakers. And so when you put those two together, it's going to be tough to see them having any success. I mean, especially with some of these other teams, what they've done. Houston looks like the second best team in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper. And obviously OKC's not going anywhere. Denver just made a big move in acquiring Cam Johnson. Like, these teams aren't going anywhere. The Clippers are still looking to upgrade. Like, these teams aren't going anywhere. And so it's hard for me to say, even, LeBron is getting older now. Obviously, he's still good, but he's going into year 23. And so, is he going to be as good as he was this past year, D-Lo? And is Luka, obviously, I think Luka is going to be much, much better than he was this year, especially if he stays healthy. But it's hard to say. And then you lose DFS, D-Lo, as if you're the Lakers. You lost Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm not sure what the Lakers are doing, but they're trying to make something happen.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing with this, though, is that it is technically a 1-year rental if he opts out of that player deal.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work out, they can always opt out and get him out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the good part of this, is it's a trial run. And if it works, he'll opt in. And if it doesn't, if it works, he opts out and asks for more money or goes elsewhere for more money. If it does not work, he still opts out and he probably goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
I agree. To your point, it's probably a 1-year rental. I think the only way it doesn't work out is if he really craps the bed. And nobody else is going to give him $8 million, so he's going to opt into that. That's you know what I'm saying? I think that's the only way he stays with the Lakers after next year. So to your point, it's only a 1-year rental, so you're not stuck with him for too long. And if he's really that bad, you can get rid of him at the deadline. So all right, D-Lo. Oh, go ahead.
The thing is that father time is catching up to Bron. I get
Inevitably.
he's still really great for how old that he is, but he's not the player that he was. We can all agree on it. And so I think that year after year, it's only going to get worse. Apparently in New York, Savannah was talking. This should be LeBron's last year. I'm sure we'll touch on that some point, but I think that this is the final year for Bron, and we've seen the rumors that he may not even be in LA.
We've seen him. I don't think there's any chance LeBron does not start the season on the Lakers. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way he does not start the season as a Laker.
I agree. If push comes to shove and they end up being really bad, I would not be surprised.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what team is going to give, because you're gonna have to give up something for LeBron. I mean, the Lakers are good. Like, that's LeBron James, especially if he's playing well. If he's giving you 27 and 7 every night, and you're gonna have to give up something. And especially if he's going to a contender, if he's going to Cleveland, or if he's going to Indiana or one of these other teams that really need him. Like you're gonna have to give up something. I just don't know if any of those teams are gonna be willing to give up anything for 40 games of LeBron James.
I mean, yeah, unless I think the more realistic option is that he gets bought out. That's a lot of pocket
big
change.
buyout.
It
Yeah,
is, but I mean, you don't have a team that's going to trade assets for a 40-game rental.
no.
It's not going to happen. So I think that if LeBron, push comes to shove, forces his way out of LA, that's the only way he's going to get out.
Yeah, I don't know, D'Lo, and this is my last little thing on it. I don't know why he's still playing, David. He has nothing to prove. He has nothing to prove.
He
Now,
doesn't.
again, whether you think LeBron is the GOAT or you think my MJ is the GOAT, either one I'm not upset with. I mean, we could debate all day, but if you think LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, you absolutely have a case. There's no reason for me to be upset with that. And a lot of people do. I don't know why. What does he still have to prove, David?
He doesn't.
I don't know, man. So we'll see what happens with DA in Los Angeles. David and I both agree that we don't think it's going to work out.
Don't think so.
Another story, David. I thought this was really interesting. I talked about it with Jordan on the Sports Sesh the other day on the other podcast. So go check that out, the Sports Sesh on YouTube on Howls Over Boz. But Damian Lillard was waived and stretched yesterday by the Milwaukee Bucks so that they could go out and get Miles Turner, a big to kind of fall alongside Giannis, a guy who can defend the rim, who can shoot the three ball, who can really do all you want from a modern day big man. And so you lose Brook Lopez, who's getting older. He goes to the Clippers, and obviously you're going to have to pay Miles Turner. And where's that money going to come from? Because you're already paying Damian Lillard, so you have to let him go so you can bring in Miles Turner. David, is this it for Damian Lillard? I mean, he's not gonna touch an NBA floor until he's at least 35, going on 36. He's coming off an Achilles injury. Is this it? I mean, are there gonna be any teams that look at him and be like, he can still play?
Yeah, there will be. It probably will not be in the role that we think of when we hear the name Damian Lillard, but he will probably still be good enough to get some sort of sixth man or prolific starting scorer, right? But he's not going to be the star anymore. But he's just way too talented, way too good, especially if rehab goes well for him, to sit here and say that he won't get an opportunity to play anywhere. And there's already been multiple teams that have already been in contact with him, according to, sources. So there's at least 4 teams that I know that would sign him right now. And rehab with him. Now, if I'm Dame, I don't think so. I think I wait and see how rehab goes and then make my decision from there. You know what I mean? But I definitely think that he'll come back and he'll have a role. I just don't think it will be this, superstar that we know from Dame.
I agree. I think somebody will give him a chance just because he is Damian Lillard. Right. He's Damian Lillard. He's a top 75 NBA player. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. He can still handle the ball. And the thing about an Achilles, it takes away, it doesn't take away all of your athleticism, but it definitely hampers your athleticism a little bit. The nice thing about Damian Lillard, his athleticism is not what he relies on in his game. And so
when he was younger,
he'd get on that rim.
Hey, he would punch people.
When he was younger, he would get on that rim. Now, obviously, he's 34 going on 35. And once again, like I mentioned, 35 going on 36 the next time he even touches an NBA floor. But like you said, I do think somebody will give him a chance. I don't think it'll be that star, like you're the guy, you're even the 2 or even maybe the 3 guy. Like so I feel for him though, David. I feel really, really bad for him. He's looking for a chip, man. He deserves to at least a chance to compete for one. And so hopefully he goes to a team that can compete for a championship, and he can, possibly even have an impact on that team. So Dame Lillard, we're praying for him, obviously, and praying for a speedy recovery. But yeah, I think somebody will give him a chance. I just don't know if he'll be able to be that guy, that 1-2. Maybe he can be the 3 guy, that number 3 option on a team coming off the bench, like you said, in that 6-man role, kind of what Russell Westbrook is right now. But yeah, it's going to be hard for me to say that he's going to come back and be the same player he is, especially as he ages and coming off an Achilles injury. David, it hurts, man. It hurts. It couldn't have happened to a worse guy.
Dame is he's been one of my favorite players since he entered the league, coming from Weber State. So, I mean, he's been phenomenal, and it just sucks that his career, most people will look at and say it's hindered because he has not had any playoff success, and that sucks.
He's had very little. It sucks.
It sucks.
But he's still, again, one of the top 75 NBA players of all time.
So, before we move on, then, of the teams that were listed, and I don't know if you've seen the teams that have been listed, I can say them for you if you need. But what team do you think he goes to?
I think Golden State would be interesting. I think Golden State would be really interesting if he comes off the bench. Obviously, it's going to be hard for him to start with Steph Curry if he as long as Steph is still playing. I know there are a few other teams. What was the other one? The Clippers?
The Lakers. It's
the Lakers.
The other LA team, the Lakers. He's been tied there ever since trade rumors.
Yeah, Deal, do you think he gets signed this offseason?
I don't think so. I think he sits this year and rehabs. The only way I see him getting signed is if it's one of the last 2 teams that were mentioned, being Boston. I think that if he were to get signed, and Boston would do it, and they would rehab Dame and JT at the same time, and then have them ready to go for the following year. I think that's the only way that he gets signed by a team.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you though. I don't think he gets signed this year. I think, like you said, I think he rehabs, he gets better, he gets healthy, and next offseason when he comes around and he's 100% and he's able to go into training camp and have a full offseason with the team, whichever team he may sign with, I think that's when he really kind of turns it on. D'Lo, there's been a lot of stuff that's happening in free agency and NBA free agency. Let's move over to football for a few minutes. There's been a few very, very big, interesting trades in football.
Oh, we love football. We don't get to talk football much now that season's over, but man, we love football.
Oh, you must be crazy if you don't think we were going to talk some football on this episode today.
Yeah, because the Dolphins,
Dolphins, they're making some moves. That there was obviously a lot more that went into this trade. I'm actually going to look up the trade details right now. But actually, give me 1 second. Where is it at? Why is Adam Schefter have all these posts? What is going on here, Adam? Oh, that's cool. Just not working. Let's see. What is the full details of this trade? Okay. So apparently it's just there we go. So this trade. Okay, basically, I'm just gonna point out the big points of the trade. The Miami Dolphins trade Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers, an AFC foe. Obviously, they're not in the same division. I still thought it was interesting that they traded him to somebody who they're going to compete with for a wild card spot, because I don't think either of those teams are winning those divisions, so they're going to competing with the Steelers for a wild card spot. But you trade Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick goes back to Miami, and a blockbuster deal. David, who won the trade? I know it's a tough question. It's a tough question because of the assets that each team got. But who do you think got the better end of the trade?
It's kind of hard because I have 2 perspectives on this. If you ask me who I think won the trade, I think it's the Dolphins. Minka is still a top safety in the league. You're giving up an aging corner in Jalen Ramsey, who is no longer the prime 1v1 stopper that he is. And you get Jonnu Smith, who, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball over there, so who knows how well that's going to work out, right?
He does love his tight ends though.
He
Now you got
does.
Muth and Jonnu.
He,
So
he does. But that brings me to my second point, in that I think the Dolphins are the losers here. Because you know who else really likes their tight ends is that quarterback out in Miami. Jonnu Smith exploded this year, in a good way. He was very productive for the Dolphins, and Tua loved him very much. Because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they sucked this year. And Jonnu Smith carried that load for them. Um, and I think this is going to end up hurting Tua unless Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle return to the Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle that we know. I think the Dolphins' offense got worse. And looking at it, can Minka propel the defense enough to overcome that? And in that sense, I don't think so. And I think that when you look at the value, yes, the Dolphins probably got, top safety in the league. They probably got the best value. But if you look at the team as constructed, I think the Dolphins lost the trade.
I think it was big for the Dolphins. I think now the Dolphins did get a 5th-round pick alongside with, so the full details of the trade: Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith in the 7th-round pick all go to the Steelers, and the Dolphins give up Minka Fitzpatrick in a 5th-rounder. Let me preface this. I don't think either team lost the trade, right? I don't think, but who got the better end of the trade? I think it was the Steelers. You go and get Jalen Ramsey, who's not, again, he's not that top number 1 corner anymore, but he is still top 10, kind of towards the end of the top 10 in that list in the corner in terms of cornerbacks. Jonnu Smith, who was very productive last year. Like you said, when those guys went out, and he was kind of that security blanket for whoever was at quarterback, out to most of the year. But he was kind of that security blanket. Now he can be that same way for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh alongside Pat Freiermuth. The biggest thing, honestly, one of the more intriguing things that the Steelers did, I think you go out and get Jalen Ramsey and have him kind of, hey, Joey Porter Jr., this is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you become a great corner. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to do wonders for Joey Porter Jr. Again, one of the up and coming corners in the league. I think he's going to do wonders for him, kind of taking him under his wing. Hey, let's go. This is how you do this. When receiver does this, I think he's going to really, really have a big impact on the next steps in his career. So I think that's another reason why you go out and get Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, aside from the fact that he is still a very good corner in the league, and so you want to go out and get that number 1 guy. For the Dolphins, it was important because they lost Javon Holland, who I am a big fan of. They lost Javon Holland this year. He's now a New York Giant, but you go in and bring in a Minka Fitzpatrick, DLO, to your point, is still one of the top safeties in the league. And so you go and bring him in to kind of bulk up that secondary. Like I said, you lose Jalen Ramsey, so that hurts. So you don't really have that number 1 corner anymore. You still have a very good pass rush. You still have Jalen Phillips, who is one of the very, very good up-and-coming, not even up-and-coming, just very good edge rushers in the league still.
Yep.
And so you can still make some noise. Offensively, you still have Tyreek Hill, you still have Jalen Waddle, you still have Raheem Mostert, you still have Tua, so you still have guys who can go make plays.
You said Raheem over Devon A-Chain first?
That's kind
of crazy.
But like, well, Raheem Mostert led the league in touchdowns like 2 years ago. So I did forget it. I did.
And then Devon A-Chain led the Dolphins in yardage last year.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. But you still have weapons on offense that can go out and make plays. You're going to have to stop somebody. And so Minka Fitzpatrick bulks up that secondary a little bit. So hopefully he helps them defensively. But I think this trade really benefits both teams. Again, if you're gun to my head, you're telling me you have to pick a winner and a loser of the trade. I think the Steelers benefit more. I think, like I said, for the long term, because I think Jalen Ramsey can really do wonders for Joey Porter Jr. and learn from him. But I think the Steelers won this trade at the end of the day. So I definitely wanted to talk about this. I thought this was very, very interesting. Now, also, Miami Dolphins also did something else. Darren Waller, the rapper, came out of retirement, and the Dolphins bought out his contract with the Giants and traded for him. And so now you lose Jonnu Smith, but then you bring in Darren Waller, a guy who's had a lot of success in the NFL. DLO, what do you think? Win, lose, nothing? How you feel? How you feel about Darren Waller going to Miami and coming out of retirement?
He's not Jonnu Smith. I will tell you that. If you asked me this a few years ago, I would have said, "Wow, great move from the Dolphins." But his Darren Waller's last year, I granted it's the Giants and they suck.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
But it just wasn't that good, and he was riddled with health issues the entire year, and it caused him to retire. And now he's back, and hopefully he's healthy. And if he stays healthy, I think that he can be a great third option for Tua. Well, fourth option, really, in that tight end spot. But I have to see it first. I have to see it to believe it, because based off of the final year that I watched with him on the Giants, it was not good.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, D'Lo. I'm gonna have to see it to believe that he could still be a productive tight end in this league. Obviously, the tight end position has really, really improved since he retired. He's gonna have to come in and make plays. Now he fits that offense perfectly. If he comes in and he's the Darren Waller of 2 years ago, he fits that offense perfectly. He can run the seam down the middle. He's fast. He can get that end around. He's fast enough to come out of the tight end position, get that end around, and go make some people miss. He can run the drag route. He can be that safety blanket. But how much rust is he gonna have to knock off? How much field time is he going to need to actually get back into the rhythm of things? I think it's best that you make this trade before training camp. Obviously, OTAs have come and gone, but you make this trade before training camp. You let him get acclimated. You let him get back right into NFL shape, and you give him a chance to go out there and make plays for the Dolphins. I think it's an interesting move for the Dolphins. You're not really risking too much. If you're the Dolphins, and you go out and get a guy that, again, has been productive. He's been a top tight end in this league before. And so obviously having a year off and coming back, hopefully he can go and make plays for the Dolphins and be productive. But I thought that was interesting. I did not see that coming. I thought Darren Waller, with his music and with the things he has going on off the field, I didn't ever think he was going to come back. But obviously I was wrong. He came back, and he's going to play for the Miami Dolphins this year in that high powered offense when it really wants to be. So I think it's going to be interesting for Darren Waller. All right, D'Lo. Definitely wanted to talk to football for a few minutes. Let's get back to basketball. Nuggets made a very
dude. There's so much.
There is so much.
There's so much.
The Nuggets made a very big trade over the weekend, D'Lo.
Yeah.
Was it the weekend? No, it was the week. It was earlier in the week.
It was earlier this week, but they've just been making moves in general.
They've been all over the place. They went out and signed Bruce Brown. They signed Bruce Brown again. They brought him back, 1-year deal. But probably the biggest move they made so far this offseason, they trade Michael Porter Jr. to Brooklyn along with a first-round pick. In return, you get Cam Johnson, my guy, my homeboy. Obviously, he played here in Phoenix. I think that was a big position of need, that wing who can really play defense. And, he could put the ball on the ground. He's also one of the best shooters in the association, D'Lo, and he can get hot quickly. So, with the improvements and what the Nuggets have been able to do, and the improvements that teams in the West, the West is chaotic now. Where would you rank Denver in the West right now after acquiring Cam Johnson?
I think they're number 2. Not just after Cam Johnson, but also all of the other moves that they've made so far. Obviously, we talk about Bruce Brown, but they also signed Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
But they signed Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. I think if you're the Nuggets, you kind of feel iffy about this trade, though. I think that Michael Porter Jr. is the better player, in this scenario. However, I think that there's a better fit with what you just traded. The only issue is you had to trade an unprotected first round pick to get off that contract with MPJ. And so who knows, that may come back to bite them. Obviously, I think it was 2030 first round pick, somewhere around there. But I like the fit. The fit is what matters to them, especially if you're content with running with Jokic and Murray and Gordon. I think that you play for fit at that point. The only thing is that can Jamal Murray still be that second guy? I think that he has the potential to be, but he's just been really inconsistent, especially this year in the playoffs. He was very inconsistent. He would give you 40 or he would give you 16. And I don't think that they can win if he's going to be that inconsistent. And I think that's why you go out and you get these other guys that fit better, I think that's why you go out and sign a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr., who can give you that prolific scoring if Jamal Murray is not there. And so, obviously, he's your boy from Phoenix. We all know it.
Love
I know
Cam
you. I know you love Cam, and
Cam
I think the fit is better. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Denver does. I think that they're still the second best team in the West. They're the only team that took the champions to 7 in the West, and so
They got better.
they got better. So I think that until we see what Houston is made of, because obviously we're going to talk about Houston here in a few minutes.
Yep.
Until we see what Houston is actually capable of, I think that you have to consider Denver the real threat to dethrone OKC.
I think Cam Johnson is a perfect fit in Denver alongside Jokic. I mean, Jokic, obviously, he is kind of like the way you build around him is kind of the same way you build around LeBron. You just put a bunch of guys who can play defense and shoot the hell out of the basketball. Those are the guys you put around Jokic. And you go out again and get Bruce Brown, a very good defender when he's healthy, and who can also shoot the 3-ball at a very, very, very good clip. Go out and get Cam Johnson, who is also he's not a great defender. He's a very good defender. He's not a great defender, but is one of the best shooters in the NBA, David Largo. You go and get guys like that, and you mentioned Tim Hardaway, who is not a great defender, but can get hot. He can get hot. And so you go and get guys that can fit around Jokic. So when the defense collapsed on Jokic, oh, there's Cam Johnson, knockdown. There's Tim Hardaway Jr., knockdown. There's Bruce Brown, knockdown. You go and get these guys that can hit shots when you need them to. Again, Jokic is the best player in the association, in my opinion. And so obviously the other teams know how good he is. So you're going to bring three, 4 guys around him, which means the other guys are going to be open, which means those guys are going to have to hit shots. And the Denver Nuggets went out and got guys who can hit those shots. We're going to talk about the Rockets here in a few minutes. I think Denver has made some significant upgrades. They've gotten better. But like you said, in order for them to really have any success at all, Jamal Murray is going to have to be better than he has been. He's going to have to be. He's going to have to make up, or he's going to have to be more consistent. He's a guy that can go average 20, 22, 23 a night, but he doesn't do it every night. He'll go off for 51 night, and then he'll go have 10 on 8 of 20 shooting. Like he has to be a lot more consistent and more efficient. Aaron Gordon was very, very, very good last year, especially in the playoffs. So he's not necessarily anything you have to worry about. Christian Brown is only getting better. So I think the Denver Nuggets, and it's hard to dispute what you said about the Nuggets in terms of them being the second best team in the West. I have a different opinion as of right now, at least. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But yeah, the Nuggets, they've made some significant upgrades.
I also forgot. The Nuggets traded for Valanciunas, so there's your backup center depth.
There's your backup 5. He's a physical big.
Needed it. They've really needed it.
He's a physical big that can go and get rebounds and defend the paint. And that's another very, very good acquisition. So the Denver Nuggets have made some huge moves this offseason that I think can really, really give the OKC Thunder a run for their money. Okay, let's see what's next. Man, there's a lot to talk about.
There's so much.
The Rockets. You know what? We're talking about them. Let's talk about the Rockets, DLO. The Rockets go out and get better in free agency. Obviously, you trade for Kevin Durant, right? One of, in my opinion, the best scorer of the basketball that's ever touched an NBA floor, a basketball floor. You go out and get him. The one thing that you were struggling with this past year, you go out and really fill that role offensively, and scoring the basketball and putting the basketball in the bucket. But you go out and you replace some of the guys that you lost, right? You go out, you go get Dorian Finney-Smith, a 3-and-D guy, a long wing who can defend the perimeter. And, you lose Dylan Brooks in the trade with the Phoenix Suns. You go out and get DFS, a guy who can knock down a three, a guy who can play perimeter defense. He's a very good defender. And then you go out and I really, really, really like this pickup for them. You go and get Clint Capella. You bring Clint Capella back to Houston. You have him come off the bench for Sengun. That's another guy who can go up, catch lobs, is a very, very good rim protector, even at his age right now. You go out and you get better, D-Lo. The Rockets, and in my opinion, D-Lo, the Rockets are the number 2 team right now. They were the number 2 seed going into the playoffs this year, and I think they got better. I think they lose to the Golden State Warriors, who, again, offense. They just could not put the ball in the bucket. The Rockets couldn't. But you go and get better. You go out and really fill that scoring role with a guy that averages 27 points a game. You go out and, again, get another 3-and-D guy in DFS, and you go out and get a backup big in Clint Capella, who, again, can protect the rim as well as catch lobs and really and play that pick and roll with Fred VanVleet. I think the Rockets have made some significant upgrades as well, D'Lo, and in my opinion, they're the number 2 team in the West right now, and I think could give OKC the biggest run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. And if you're looking at it on paper, I think that that's the case. But again, we've not seen this team on the court. And so it's easy to look at teams and say, oh, this team is going to be really, really good. And in reality, it just doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
And, not to bring up your history because obviously you're a Suns fan, but that's what we all thought when they traded for KD and Bradley Beal. We thought that, this team was going to be an offensive juggernaut and no one would be able to stop them from scoring the basketball. And it didn't work out. They were really good on paper and it just didn't translate. So when you're looking at it on paper, I think that the Rockets are probably the biggest threat to upset OKC, but until we see it, I can't give them that title yet. However, I love the moves that they've made. Obviously, you mentioned it. They had to give up Brooks in that deal for KD, and you go out and you get a very solid replacement for him in DFS. Very solid replacement. You go out and you sign Clint Capella, and it's weird because we were talking about it. We don't know who that backup 5 is going to be because they also extended Steven Adams, right? I think Clint Capella probably sees the floor more, but you always have Steven Adams in that back pocket, and I think at this point he's more of like a veteran presence for someone like Sengun. Right?
That's that depth, though, D'Lo. We see injuries happen all the time. Clint Capella has had an injury history, and so he gets hurt. You have Steven Adams that can fit right into that role.
Yes, and I agree with that. The big thing that I think people are talking about right now is Jabari Smith and his 5-year extension. Should have been a Sun. I don't know what Phoenix was doing.
Don't get me started, David Largo. Do not get me started.
My bad for bringing it up. But they lock him down for the next 5 years, and we've been talking about it. We all, well, not we all, but a lot of us think that KD will unlock Jabari Smith.
Yeah.
I think that he has the potential to be very great. And him next to both Sengun and KD and Fred, they can be a very, very good 4 right there. And you lock him down for the next 5 years. And hopefully with Katie it works, and if not, the idea of KD unlocking Jabari Smith and having him then as your number 3 guy moving forward. I mean, if you're Houston, you have nothing to be sad about. I think that you're the happiest team in the offseason right now.
I agree. I agree. The Rockets have made some just fantastic moves, and even with the Jabari Smith deal, obviously there's some risk behind it. I mean, the Rockets, they kind of did what they did with Jalen Green when they gave him his extension. Like,
The
they didn't give
value
him.
is
It,
crazy.
I mean, there is so much because he's also so young, D'Lo. So they gave him a 5-year deal, 5-year, 122, right?
Mhm.
That's about what, a little over $20 million a year.
Yeah, I think Nama's making that with the Bucks, and he's not even
I mean,
playing.
he's not even playing. And so they did the same thing with Jalen Green, D'Lo. They gave him a contract, and they gave him a contract that they would be able to move in case they needed to move him. And obviously, they were able to move him and getting Kevin Durant back. Jabari Smith, I think it goes either way. If he's really, really good, he has the best contract in the NBA. He has the best contract. If he's comes out and he's averaging 23, 24 points a game, 7, 8 rebounds, 3 or 4 assists a game, and he has probably the best contract in the NBA. But if he doesn't do very well and he doesn't progress the way that they believe he will, you can easily trade that contract because he still has so much upside, especially to a team that's looking for young upside players. So the Rockets, I think they're just making every move, and the moves they're making, I believe, are very, very good, D'Lo.
Yes.
So the Rockets, I think, it made a big jump. You believe the Denver Nuggets are the biggest competition to the Rockets. I mean, to the Rockets, to the OKC Thunder. I believe Houston has kind of took that step. Obviously, like you said, we have to see it on the floor. But I think what they've been able to do, the way that they've built this team, they have their 2 stars and they have the guys around them. They have the 3-and-D guys. They have guys who can sit down on defense. They have guys who can facilitate, and Fred VanVleet. It's going to be interesting to see how they really perform. Obviously, we got a long way to go before we actually see them on the floor, but I like what they've done so far in this offseason.
And you know what? I completely forgot too, because I only said 4, but I'm forgetting that Amen Thompson is still on that team too.
Imagine. And he's only getting better.
Yeah, have you seen the runs that he's in that are plaguing? Yeah,
I mean, he's in crossover step back
legit.
threes.
He's legit. He might be the next big one.
He's gonna be a problem, David Largo. He's gonna be a problem.
He's gonna.
Couple more things I want to hit on first before we get out of here. The New York Knicks found their next head coach, David. They went out and they signed former Sacramento Kings head coach, at least the most recent team he was coaching, Mike Brown. You bring in Mike Brown to replace Tom Thibodeau. In my opinion, Divo, I think it's you. I mean, you ever seen the meme where it's like the one guy pulling the other guy and they just look the exact? I don't think it's that much of a difference. You go out and get another experienced guy. He knows what he's doing. He's been in playoffs. He's won playoff games. Kind of like Tom Thibodeau. I don't know if they're just maybe looking for a new presence in the locker room, maybe a new vibe, maybe a new leader for the locker room in terms of a head coach. I don't think this is much of an upgrade, if an upgrade at all, from Tom Thibodeau, D'Lo.
No, I mean, if you're just looking at coaching, it's really not. But I think the thing is that Tom Thibodeau has a very unique way of coaching the game of basketball, and where he will go maybe 1 or 2 guys into his bench, and his starters will play 45 plus minutes a game. That's just not sustainable. And when you look at that from that aspect, I think that this is going to help the Knicks in the long run. However, I just there's not really a guy out there that you could point and be like, "Wow, that's the guy." In terms of coaching, I mean, maybe Frank Vogel. He hasn't had the best track record. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's a lateral move, really. I think
Yeah, I agree.
the bigger thing with the Knicks is that they just got Jordan Clarkson. So
That's a big pickup. That's a very big pickup.
very big pickup, good scoring off the bench. And now you have him and McBride leading your backcourt off the bench. And I think that that's going to be the bigger impact. But I mean, a coach is a coach, I guess. I don't really know.
I agree. I just when you look at it, Mike Brown has had a lot of success in this league, but he's also had a lot of failure in this league. So is Tom Thibodeau. I think, like you mentioned, I think this is a lateral move. I don't think it's much of an upgrade, if it is at all. Obviously Don Staley was kind of in the. I mean, I would love for Don Staley to get an opportunity to coach in the NBA. I think that could be a very, very interesting opportunity, and I think it'd be a very cool story. Obviously, she won't get that opportunity, at least not this year. Hopefully, she does, sometime in the future. But yeah, I don't see really the kind of the big point of going out and get a head coach kind of like Mike Brown. I mean, they kind of did what the Suns did the past few years. They went out. Obviously, you fire Monty Williams and then you bring in Frank Vogel, a championship winning head coach. Okay, this guy's going to bring a championship energy into our locker room. Okay, that didn't happen. So you go out, you fire him and bring in Mike Budenholzer, another coach who's won a championship. Okay, that didn't happen. And so now they changed it. All right, you know what? Let's go get a guy that's kind of been around, a younger guy who can maybe relate to the players a little bit. So maybe that's what they do if Mike Brown doesn't work out. But yeah, it's kind of a lateral move, like you said, for the Knicks. David, what do the Suns do with Bradley Beal?
You put him on a Dame treatment and you waive him and extend that. That's what you do.
Here's the thing, though, DLO. So there is a rule, right? I think there's you can only stretch 15% of the salary. Mm-hmm. The Suns already did that with Nasir Little and EJ Liddell. So they've waived and stretched two guys already previously. And so with Bradley Beal's contract, his contract is too big and would surpass that 15% amount of your salary, on top of Nasir Little and EJ Liddell's income that they're already paying them, and they're stretching their contract. So his contract already. Yeah, so they already stretched. They've already stretched two guys that they're paying, and so which means Bradley Beal would have to take a pay cut. Now, to that point, you could look at it two ways. If you're Bradley Beal, this team, if you're Bradley Beal, you can look at it. Okay, this team, doesn't want me. And do I want to be here? If they, if he feels like they've treated him really badly, what am I going to take a pay cut for? You're going to pay me every single penny of the money that you owe me. So he could look at it that way, or he could look at it as if, okay, you don't want me here. I don't want to be here. I want to go. I want to go play for a team that can compete out, because the Suns aren't going to compete this year for anything. Maybe a play-in. So I want to go compete for a championship. So I really want to get out of here. So I'll take a pay cut so that I can get out of here. But it's also been reported that, Bradley Beal, he moved his family here. He's a father. He's a husband, right? Mm-hmm. Off the basketball court. Moved his family here. His family got comfortable. They have now kind of asserted themselves here in Phoenix. So, I mean, I don't there's only so many options that you have with Bradley Beal right now. I just don't know how many of those options are possible, if any of them at all.
I don't think so. You can't trade him because there is zero interest from any other 29 teams that want to take $50 million and give up
a no trade clause.
And a no trade clause, and give up their free agency next year with a free agent class that's loaded with talent. Yep. You don't do it. So it's tough. If you're the Suns, it's just a bad move in general. I think you're stuck. I genuinely think so.
I don't see any other way, D'Lo. I just, when you look at it, he would have to take a massive pay cut for them to. So you can't waive and stretch him.
Nope.
You could buy him out, but again, he would have to take a pay cut. I don't see him taking a pay cut, nor should he. If I'm looking at it from Brad, obviously I want him to take a pay cut because I don't want him on the team anymore. He's failed miserably. And so, but if I'm looking at it from Bradley Beal's point of view, what am I going to take a pay cut for? Unless I really, really want to leave, what am I going to take a pay cut for from this team and from what they've kind of put me through and what I've like at this point in time, what am I going to help this team out for?
Yeah, and the other thing is that he's not going to be starting next year. He will be coming off the bench. Because obviously,
$55 million.
Realistically, your starting lineup is looking Book, Green, Dunn, Brooks, and then whoever is going to start at center is probably your lineup. And unless you go double big 4-5 and you make Brooks come off the bench,
which I do think is possible in the future, not off the rip.
It is. So it's like you're coming off the bench. You're not going to be in a winning situation. You're aging. Is it worth the pay cut? And I think that's what he's probably considering right now. And I think if you're Bradley Beal, you stay in Phoenix until the contract is over. I don't see
at this point, because maybe a team will take, because he has 2 years on his deal, 2 years left on his deal. He has this year and the following year. So maybe you can get off of him when they only have 1 year left on his deal. So maybe a team will take a chance on him, maybe at the deadline, if you try and get him for 40 games or whatever it is. But number one, he's got to stay healthy because he can't have any impact at all if he's off the floor. So he's got to stay healthy. So there's that risk. He's getting old. He's getting older. He's no longer in his 20s. And by next year, he's going to be 32, 33. So he's getting older. I don't blame any teams for not wanting to take a chance on Bradley Beal. I mean, you're going to have to pay him $55 million. And if he doesn't work out, it's not like you could just trade him, because one, he has a no trade clause, and two, he has a zero trade market.
Yep.
Oh man. This is a difficult situation.
It's going down as one of, if not the worst trades in NBA history.
It's up there if it's not at the top. It's
awful.
there.
There's nothing that you do. Bradley Beal holds all of the chips.
All of them.
Yeah. Sucks.
Oh man. Yeah, that's so I thought I'd ask you about that because I don't know what the Suns are gonna do with Mr. Bradley Beal. I just know that this situation is Bealy bad.
The only way that he has, I wasn't going to comment until you chuckled. That was really bad.
My bad. That's on me.
The only way he gets trade interest is if he starts the year and he comes out and he drops 30 a game.
But I mean,
what are the odds of it happening?
I have better odds of making the NBA.
So you guys are stuck, and you will continue to be stuck until his contract is over.
It sucks.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yep.
All right, David Largo.
Yep.
That was our little recap. Obviously, we're going to be back sometime very soon. I know this weekend. Hopefully this weekend we'll be back. But it's been a little while. We haven't reacted to all the NBA free agency moves, so we'll have to get an episode out. This will be out Thursday morning. So to all, have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Be safe. Obviously, all these people are going to get out these, illegal fireworks and all this crazy stuff. So be safe. Have fun. Be safe. And as always, if nobody else is going to tell you, I'm going to tell you. I love you, and you matter. And you woke up this morning because you have value. And go take advantage of that value. And you know what, David Largo? Go make somebody smile. Huh? Go make somebody's day.
You love you.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
I mean?
Oh, you weren't going to say anything about Billy bad, but you want to mention that. You know what? You can't love anybody else until you love you.
Yep.
See? That's when you put two and two together and said, oh, that didn't work out very well, did it?
No, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it did. You damn right it did.
Yeah, I
Anyways,
get to call you out on your mistakes, and I love doing that.
God, I need new friends. That's what I need.
Gosh,
I need new friends.
yeah, probably. We suck. You know what I mean? Like we suck.
Oh God, as much as I hate it, I love you idiots to death. So, anyways, David Largo, appreciate you, brother. This was a fantastic episode. Fantastic episode
Yeah,
reacting
and it's
to the
crazy
NFL
because
trades.
we didn't even touch everything. There is
No, there's
so
so
much.
much. There's so much more, and and I'm sure there are going to be more things because there's a lot of free agencies, free agents that are still out there, David.
The
There's a
big
lot of free
one,
agents that are still out there.
Jonathan Kuminga, still hasn't gone anywhere.
Although he's restricted.
He's restricted.
So somebody's gonna have to give him a big old bag in order for the Warriors not to match it.
Miami.
That'd be interesting though. That'd be interesting. But again, are you guys willing to give him $30 million a year?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? 30 mil is a lot, dog. 30 mil is a lot.
Is Golden State willing to give him 30 mil a year?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the team that if a team really wants Kuminga because he's a restricted free agent, you're going to have to give him 30 mil because I don't think the Warriors are going to give him 30 mil. You're going to have to give him 30 mil at least a year in order to in order to acquire him.
If we can get Kuminga for about 25, I'd be happy.
But I think the Warriors match. The Warriors match.
That Steve Kerr hates Kuminga. Steve Kerr hates him.
He's looking for a bag, though, man. He's looking for a bag. But yeah, we will definitely touch on every. Now, you know what? Let me rephrase that. We will definitely talk about every free agent that is remaining and every free agent move that is to be made within the next few weeks, few days, whatever the case may be. On obviously training camp, NFL training camp. It's coming up, DLO. It's about a month.
Yep.
It's not even a month away. It's this month. We get football this month, David Largo.
And guess what? The Niners going to be on top of the NFC.
Oh, you wish, brother. You wish.
It's going to happen.
Hey,
It's totally not going to be the Rams. It's totally not.
No. It's gonna be the Niners and the Cardinals fighting for the winner of the NFC West.
Yeah, we're being delusional. Really?
Yeah. What's wrong with that, Dilo? What's wrong with that?
Because in reality, we're probably gonna.
Yeah. And the thing is, we have two of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
And we're probably still gonna suck.
And Brock Purdy and Kyler Murray are just gonna throw the ball to the other team continuously.
Yep, and we're paying them a lot of money.
Oh, a lot of money to give the ball to the other team. So that is something else we will talk about. I will be at Cardinals training camp, so I'll try and see if I can get some content there while I'm there. Make some videos, maybe talk to a few players.
And if you do, you'll see it on Gumo's Instagram. Go follow.
Oh, see, D-Lo, you're a great guy. At Jamal Gumo, JAMALGUMO on Instagram. At Gumball Sports Machine on Instagram. At NoLove_D-Lo on Instagram. And of course, I got to shout out my dog. At Wave_Marley on Instagram. And who else am I forgetting? At Magnificent on Instagram. At NoLoveKev on Instagram. Go follow everybody, man. You know, there's a lot of good content on there. And like I said, I will be at Cardinals training camp again this year. I'll be down on the field, kind of watching them practice and see what's going on, see how the boys are looking. But
go see Kyler Murray and his baby run.
Hey, it's a fast baby, boy. That's a fast baby. You better not let him get a hold of your toy. He'll be gone. You say that, you tell that toy goodbye. So I'm sorry, Kyler. I love you. Can you be great this year, please? Anyways, that is going to close out the show. If nobody else is going to tell you, I love you, you matter, you have value, go make somebody smile today. Go make somebody's day. Go tell somebody that they're beautiful and they're amazing. As always, D-Lo, appreciate you, brother. This was a fantastic show. Tone will be back next episode. And always remember, it is nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. We are out. We will see you in the next episode. Peace.
Doses.
gotta find my